friends, hello to our Sunday weekly reset. If you don't know me, welcome to my channel. My name is Haley and I love creating cozy, productive, bookish content here on YouTube, and I'm so glad to have you here. Now let's talk weekly resets, because your girl has been struggling with staying on task. I'm going to make a separate video for this, but I have been recovering from 7+ years of burnout. And let me just say, it has not been easy. When I decided to slow my life down, I literally threw all of my routines out the window and just decided to go with the flow so I could reset my inner routines. And let me say, routines is not a word in my current vocabulary. I wake up every single morning and I probably scroll on my phone for like 2 hours, and then the rest of the day I'm thinking about all of the things that I need to do, but instead I'm scrolling on my phone and inevitably I get nothing done. I still feel overwhelmed and I have a very awful screen time on my phone. Now I know there's going to be some of you out there that are like, could never be me. I have a routine set for my week and I aspire to be you, which is why I have now put together this Notion weekly Sunday reset routine that has truly helped me totally transform my weeks and how I approach them now. Today is Sunday, so I am getting ready to hop into my Notion to go through it. So I figured, why not walk you through all of the different pieces of my Notion Sunday reset routine. So let's hop on over to my computer. Okay, so we are on my Daily Hub page in my Notion. This is one of my favorite pages. This is a page I use every single day. It has my daily tasks as well as upcoming tasks in here. It also has the content I have to create as well as publish during the day. It has my navigation to different parts of my Notion, as well as just actions that I can do on this page. And we're going to be doing one of these actions for my reset routine. One thing I love with Notion is you can automate so many things, even on the free plan. When you create things like a task database, you can actually create templates for tasks. So if you have recurring tasks you're going to be doing weekly, monthly, etc., you can do that all here. So that's what I've done. I've put in a bunch of tasks, and some of these tasks are with my weekly routine. I've created this button on here called Weekly Reset in my Daily Hub. If we go in the settings, you can see that it will basically populate a bunch of my weekly reset tasks into my task database. So that's where we're going to start today. So I'm going to go ahead and click this and we are going to plan the week. The first thing that I do here, as you can see, everything pretty much populates either with no start date or populates to today. I'm not doing all of these things today. So one of the first things that I do is actually decide what days I'm going to do each of these items. Generally, I'll switch over to my calendar view for this and I'll go through each of my tasks and just decide which ones are going to go where. So we have finished that. As you can see now, I have less items on here, and all of my chores, etc., planning weekly content are going to be done throughout the week, so I've moved them back a little bit farther. Now, the first thing that I like to do here after populating all of my reset tasks is updating my budget. I am a finance girly. I love budgeting, and I am just someone that loves to stay on top of my finances because I worry about them all the time. So every single week I go through and update my budget. Currently, I use the Every Dollar app. I have been using that for like 8+ years and I'm just used to it. However, I do want to convert eventually to my own custom Excel or Google Docs document, just because I use a free version of Every Dollar and it doesn't come with analytics, and I am always interested in how I'm spending my money throughout the year and want to be able to create really cool analytics because I'm a data girly. So I'm going to be putting that on my dashboard. Going through my expenses for this week, we ate out this week once at Wendy's. We try to eat out only once per week, so that's where we went. We wanted to try their new Pop-Tarts Frosty, and it was interesting. Probably will never get it again. We also went to Target because they were having sales on books and journals, so we went there and purchased a few. We generally don't buy this many things there at once, but they were having a sale, so we figured why not. We had some items on our wish list that we wanted. Grabbed some coffee from Starbucks this week, and we loaded $25 onto the card, so that's been added here. We also bought a few items that we needed from Amazon. My husband got some books for his degrees, getting a master's in counseling, and we also just got some household items that were on sale for Prime Day. So that is everything that we spent this week. Thankfully not a high spend week. Now we can go ahead and check that off. So I'm just gonna mark done on my Notion, and we're done with that task. So the next task that I have is my digital declutter. And I just want to say, this is probably my most important task that I do in my weekly reset. I'm someone who's extremely digitally oriented. I have 6 email addresses. My entire 9-to-5 job is on the computer. I also create content, so my phone is full of content, screenshots, videos, etc. And so I have to go weekly through my phone and through my laptop and clean things up so that I don't actually lose my mind. My first 4 items orient around my phone. So the first thing that I do is I upload content that I've created for my accounts from my phone onto my Google Drive. Currently, that is where I'm storing created content as well as any behind the scene clips. However, I will convert those eventually to a hard drive so I can clear up more space on my Google Drive. After I've done that, then I go through and I just delete all of my content and behind the scenes from my phone. I really only try to keep actual life photos and memories and videos on my phone, and everything else content related I try to upload onto Google Drive or a hard drive, just because when I'm trying to flip through in my phone and show people images, I don't want to be flipping through 30 pictures of me trying to get the right angle for a new Instagram post, or a ton of different videos of me recording myself for some content. So I try to keep that all cleaned up. Another thing I do on my phone is I actually have specific folders for storing all of my images and videos. I have, for instance, a life folder that I put all my photos and videos in. That way, if I'm looking for things that aren't work or content related, I can easily find them. I have a books and recommendations folder. If you don't know, I create content about books, and so if I have book recommendations that I've screenshotted in here, I do save some behind the scenes and some content on my phone, so those all go into this folder. And then I have other folders, like if I go on a trip, I'll create a folder for that. I also have a folder for my dogs that I put all of their photos and videos in, and this way it just helps me really easily find images, because if I'm just scrolling through the iPhone regular library, it takes me forever to find what I'm looking for. Lastly, on my phone, I am absolutely awful at answering text messages, so on Sundays I like to go through and answer all of the ones I haven't answered, read any unread messages, and start fresh with the week with a clean slate. After my phone declutter, I head on over to my laptop. This one is generally a little bit quicker, but first what I do is declutter any email inboxes. Like I said, I have 6 different emails, and so I get lots of subscription emails, spam emails, newsletters, as well as just general emails. I try to keep everything organized in little folders, and so I have to go through and update that every single week. That way I don't have 100 plus unread emails that just go unnoticed. I also clean up any computer downloads I've done during the week. Oftentimes I'm downloading pictures from Pinterest for mood boards or my Notion. I'm downloading, screenshots of receipts and things, so I make sure that those are all organized and saved somewhere. Again, cleaning up space on my computer and also putting things in places where I can find them again. The last thing that I do is create to-dos for everything else in my life. I know that I actually have been decluttering and I have boxes of items for Goodwill, so I'm gonna add a task in here. We're gonna donate items to Goodwill. We'll go ahead and do that in 2 weeks on Saturday. Now I have these organized in projects, so this is going to be part of my organized life project. That's probably going to take me about an hour or so. I like to estimate in case there's a line. That's going to be medium priority for me, and I always love adding a little icon. So let's maybe just put a trash can and we'll put that there. And so now that task is saved, and I'll do that for the rest of the tasks that are in the back of my mind that I may not be doing today or even this week, but I know I need to get done at some point. I love the ability to add tasks immediately when I think of them, because for so many years I would think of a task and maybe like write it down on a sticky note or write it down in my iPhone notes and forget it for months and months until I realized, oh my gosh, I need to do this thing like right now. And so now I can plan things out and actually think about, okay, how urgent is this? When is some free time when I can get it done? Also think about how much time this will take and compare it across different tasks in my week. Now we can go in and mark that one as done. Next, I am not going to take you through this, but I have been trying to remove decisions from my morning routines, and that includes picking out outfits. I am not a fashion girly. I really wish I was, but picking out outfits can often feel really overwhelming to me, and I hate starting my day in this place of indecision because I'm an extremely indecisive person. And so what I've started doing is actually planning out my outfits of the week. So the first thing I love doing is always having a cozy outfit of the week. This is something that I can put on in the morning before I get ready for the day because I love being cozy, but I also don't want to be just like sitting in my pajamas for the first couple hours of the day. And I also need something to wear when I'm going out, taking my dogs for the walk, etc. After that, then I transition to outfits for the week. I'm generally still in cozy outfits. I work from home, and so I will be found in shorts or sweatpants and generally a sweatshirt probably 90% of the time, but I still like planning it out as well as thinking about, am I going out anywhere? What am I doing, etc., and planning those outfits as well. One tool that I love using is Daily Dress Me. They have a website as well as an app, and they actually will show you, based on your location and the weather at your location, different outfit suggestions. This really helps me because it helps me especially when you're on that brink between, like, I don't know if this is pants or shorts weather. It can help give you ideas on layering, etc. If it's going to be a really hot day, it'll show you maybe like a sundress or shorts. And so that really helps me kind of think about my wardrobe instead of maybe planning something, wearing it, and realizing I'm either way too hot or way too cold. Go ahead and mark that one is done. The rest of the tasks on my list are not part of my reset routine. I like to leave a little break between my reset routine and then getting to the rest of my tasks, just so I can kind of have space to breathe, to appreciate getting through the reset routine. That is my entire reset routine. I have tons more ideas for it. I actually want to, coming up, start planning my entertainment for the week. The thing that I've noticed is I spend a lot of time trying to find entertainment options, whether it's looking for books to read, even though I have a very long TBR list already, picking out movies or TV shows to watch, or picking out a podcast or music to listen to on my walk. I was actually just listening to a podcast where they say on average people spend up to 2 to 3 days a year just figuring out what to watch on TV, which basically comes out to like 10 or 15 minutes per day, which I feel like is a little high. So I'm not sure how true that is, but I do think that I spend a lot of time trying to figure out what to watch, read, or listen to. And I already know that I have a list in the back of my mind, on my phone, etc., of things to watch, read, or listen to that I just need to organize somewhere so I can easily find and pick out what I'm going to do during the week. Again, I think it's really important for me to eliminate as much decision fatigue as possible, especially as someone who is extremely indecisive. So if I already have a weekly reset routine and plan, a morning routine and plan, I already have entertainment options planned out for myself, then I'm not going to be stuck in indecision and then revert back to just scrolling on my phone because I feel overwhelmed and can't decide anything. So we'll see. I'm going to try to add that to my routine next, but so far I am loving this reset routine. I've been doing it for a few weeks now and I just feel so much more calm, so much more ready for my week, and so much more focused on what I'm doing. Anyways, I hope that this was helpful for you. If you have anything that you do that are good ideas for a weekly reset routine, please leave a comment below. I'm always looking to improve and better myself through my reset routine. If you watched this whole thing, thank you so much for watching, and if you're not already, please subscribe below. I would love to have you follow along in this community with me, and have an awesome day.